Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of our isolated city here in City Skylines. But today, we're going to take the look at setting up the infrastructure all ready for our oil industry. It's about that time where we get another industry undergoing. We got the fishing industry done towards the start of the series. Now it's time for another one as we have the infrastructure ready to transport the products, which is really exciting. So as always guys, if you do enjoy this, want to see more, then make sure you smash the like button down below. If you are new in here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when next episode does come out. Now last episode, I built, oh my goodness me, this water treatment plant. A lot of you guys didn't like the fact that I kind of anarchied it over the road, so I've changed the road around it. They're now access paths. So if needs be, peeps can access it to get to maintain the big warehousey style buildings, as you can now see. They got the little bollards there, stop vehicles making their way through. And it all kind of works. At the moment, I don't believe we have enough power. If I just kind of check the power real quick, we're floating on the edge of it from consumption to production. So again, like many things, I do need to build at some point a solar or a power plant of some sorts. So for now, I'm just going to drop down another solar thingy right now so we just have some more production so we can continue the growth. Anyway, forget all that business. Forget everything that we've got done recently. This is where I'm going to be building my oil industry. Now, to be able to build it, I need to kind of implement the infrastructure. So what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of create our on and off ramps just here so we can access the road. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to get set up the train line so we can get some imports and exports a whole lot easier as well. That's going to be quite exciting. And what I'm going to do is we can do it in two ways. I could either connect the trains directly to this, which I'm not too sure how I'm going to feel about doing that. Or we just do the usual stuff. We do a V on the roundabout, and that'll be the way they connect in. So the train line will go through the highway, after there, in there if they want to ship it, or pretty much anywhere else they want to go. It's going to be very exciting. So, first things first, then we're going to pause the game. Because I got to do a little bit of destruction right now. So I'm going to delete from here. I'm going to delete all the way just to there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to implement the on and off ramp section around this area. So we can bring the road down. We'll go this way and scoot up that way to eventually another connection. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to have another on and off ramp just there. We have one here, but I don't expect this area to be too busy. If I do, it'll probably be around this section. Most likely. I'm not going to put another one there. So that's something that I got to kind of think about. Now, where am I? I'm going to take it from over here, what I'm about to clone. So if I select everything but the trees, there we go. I'm going to take this road. Actually, no, I'm not going to take that road. We'll take that. No, actually, I will take that road for the straightness. Not sure what that is, but it's now gone. And we'll take another line. And then we'll duplicate it. So we'll see how this goes. Now this is actually a little bit more than I was expected to kind of steal. So maybe I just go back right now and kind of quickly fine tune it. Maybe not go. How do I now get rid? Oh no, I've deselected it all. Damn it. I was about to say maybe not go for the full shebang. Well, now I gotta deselect these little pillars. For some reason it's taking a while to get rid of them. Why can't I get rid of it? What's going on? I can't deselect it. Right, okay, it looks like it's coming with us. Looks like it's coming with us, guys. So let's duplicate all of this. And we're going to spin this right round. So first things first then is obviously get the alignment all set up. So we are as evenly spread as we can possibly get it. So if I put this right to the edge, I think that's pretty good. So now we've got to try and line it up to this, which I'm going to assume it's going to be... Oh, hang on, I've got to turn it this way to get the the alignment all up and running. Alright, zoom out a little bit. So this is the important bit. So if I go to here, and is that it? Is that the connection? I think it might be. Boom. So obviously it's not going to be fully connected, which is why then we trim the edges and get this all up and running. So highway, we need a 2-lane road, which is going to go straight into there. Oh, it's going to be elevated, by the way. And then going back the other way, straight into there. And then the train line itself needs to go straight here. So that's all done. I then got to apply the same logic to this. Yeah, I want to delete that structure. Thank you very much. So that's straight into there. It's not perfectly aligned beautifully, but it's almost aligned enough that you don't even notice it. And there we go. We have the connection up and running. So we should have the bit underground as well. Let me just double check. No, we don't. So we'll get this connected just here. And now we're officially back up and running. So one last thing I've got to check then is making sure that all the roads here are set up correctly for the lane math. We're going to make sure that the roundabout is set up correctly, which it is. And then we're going to make sure this is all done. It's all done there. We should then officially now be good to go. So we now have access to this area, this land. We can now work with it, which is amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this side here for all the production buildings in terms of that create the petroleum and the plastics, and then where we ship it from. Over this area going down here is where the oil field is going to be with all the drills and all the rigs getting set up. So that's kind of how we will treat it. So I'm going to go for like a, do I go for like an industrial size or style of road? Or do I keep, I mean, I don't think I should do the, you know, I might do the trees just to kind of keep some type of beauty in this area, even though it's not really going to be any type of beauty whatsoever. Alright, bring that down. So that's going to divide these two areas, but obviously we are going to want to kind of run down in this way. To be honest with you, I don't have to. I can keep this whole oil industry kind of completely separate, because I don't connect any of the other areas up. The only place I've ever done it was this side here, and that's probably what I'll do on this side to run it through to connect up to all of them. It probably kind of run down like that. So this I am going to keep kind of somewhat separate and just kind of run this down, and we can kind of just come off this road and build our little oil rigs. We're going to extend the natural resources a little bit more. Now, in terms of a exploitation area, do I replicate this over there, or shall I have it more centralized? I feel more centralized is the answer. So we're going back to this raw style road, and we're quite close to the edge working with that, but we'll see what we can get out of this. So if I just start here with this, right, and I'm just going to work my way down, and we'll do, so the length of this doesn't really matter, but if I come out by a 30 and just connect myself in, I'm giving myself enough space to the junction to allow the traffic to flow. So that is a 7, which will be a 3. Oh, actually, delete that. That there is the 30, right? Yeah. I'm going to do an 11 here for the zoning. Okay. That is what we're going to do. So if I just kind of pull it across by a 10 by a 10. And then how far can I take this? So I can almost take this to the top. Where's the snap? Almost take it to the top. So we'll go to a 68. If I go across by a 10 and a 10. That is that distance there, which is going to mimic it very well. Heavily industrialized kind of canal access area. Beautiful. So if that's that there, that's a 10. If I do another 20 and then we're in. If I do another 30 there and then we're in. So it's a 10 plus a 20, 30. So 30, 30. And then I'll do a 30 and then connect this in. So we've got the spacing all set up. On this run here is where we'll set up the kind of cargo system right now that will implement the what's it called, the cargo terminal. My mind went blank for a second. So we're getting it more centralized because we have all the production buildings around it, which is going to be glorious. Meaning that I'm going to also set up another straight bit there with this running up and this running up. Now, it's not going to fit within this gap, so we're going to have to do a little bit of maneuvering. It kind of would, but not perfectly. And also at the same time, we're going to have vehicles coming from all different locations and areas. We've got to think about how we also, like I said, kind of set it up. So we're going to do it in a different kind of style. If I go up by another 10 here, and then another 10 there, and then close this off. Right, if my next 10 then goes this way, and then my next 10 there goes this way, this should all line up, right? This should all line up. So there should be no offset bits, so that should all go across there, no issues, which it does. There we go. So we're gonna elevate. All right, bring this out to there 10, and then that one there, we'll bring it up to a height of 10 by the 8. All right, and then we'll go across by the 4 there. So try and replicate the same just here. So 10 by the 8, by the 4, and then we're going to bend it around. Now, I'll explain exactly the reasoning behind this momentarily. So bring that down to a 1, and then we connect it in. Or I could keep it elevated a little bit longer. That would probably be the better idea, wouldn't it? So if I delete you. Right. And if I implemented the train station, so I can do 2 train stations. I can do one here, and I can then do one there. Which means I'm going to elevate this road a little bit longer now. So I didn't realize how much space I was going to have. There to there. And then, so we're doing the 8 by 8 bends. 8 by 8. 8 by 8. Straight down to there. Straight down to there. No questions asked. So the reason for it is, right, no matter where you are, if you're over here, you can take this super highway road, which we're going to turn it into it, to the exploitation area. If you're coming off there, you can go this way, up and over. Same with this way, going to that direction. So it kind of covers you there to bypass a lot of the traffic to get to the exploitation area. If you come from this direction, you're just straight up and in. So I'm trying to create these little kind of flying over roads to get you from point A to point B. Makes you travel a whole lot easier as everything all gets set up. Now we're going to keep these pretty much running straight like this. I might have to delete a few roads because obviously some of the buildings are going to be bigger than the ability to squeeze in this kind of section. But I don't want to cover this area up too much because I need open space. But you kind of get the idea of how this is all going to run. So we'll sort out the elevation changes soon anyway. If I was to take a look at the oil industry, I need to see the type of buildings I'm going to be placing down here. So we're going to have stuff like the Napa Cracker Factory, which would fit in these areas quite nice, but I might change it up the style a little bit. So that creates the plastics, and this one here, the waste oil refinery, creates the petroleum, which both of them are quite small. That's quite a small one. That's a small one. And then you have like the big buildings for the storage. Gotcha. So we might change up then the way this area then kind of gets run. So if I delete you, right? And then if I cut across there and there, I can place big storage areas in this little area, which would be part of the funsies. So build it up like this, and then like the big storage. I mean, we've also got like the crude storage cavern, stuff like that. But these oil tanks, which how much do they store? 600,000. You know what I mean? I can have one there, and I can then would kind of Anakin them together look a bit weird. It kind of would, wouldn't it? So if I delete. Alright, delete you back there. And then instead of the 10, we'll do a 7. Let's see how a 7 would look. 7 in. So that's taken 6 off in total. So that's there. You could have got away with more of an 8. But that works out pretty fine. Big little loops here. So do the same on this side. There we go. 7. Bam. Bam. Ba-bam. So another oil storage. Beautiful. All nearby. Quick and easy access. Glorious. Okay. Very good. Very good. So that's just a little bit of the storage that we're implementing in. There's still so much more that we can kind of do. I can also utilize that as a road cutting through the middle. There we go, to access additional areas and whatnot. So it's all going to be intertwined, and that's the great thing about it all. So from this, I think we'll kind of save that right now, because we're going to make that all go underneath and connect to there. That's not going to be an issue. We're going to bring the rest of this road coming back down. Now, I don't want to build too much of the oil industry area up right now, but I at least want to get some production on the go. That is going to be the main thing. But let me get the train line connected first, because I want to see them, or I want them to have the ability to import and export straight away. So if I just come this way to there, that there is a 23, 21, 21. Is that too high? Because it doesn't feel that low. Does it? Why does that not feel too low? Let me redo all of this. And now the whole thing's getting all messed up. I don't know what's happened to all that there. That is not right. It does not feel right. Right, down by... I think it wasn't minus enough, was it? I think that's what it was. So if I bring that to here, and then do my... Oh, okay, maybe I've gone a bit too close. Right, we'll go from there. And then we're doing a... That's a 23 right now. Bring it to here. 21 by 21. And obviously, I want to make sure that the bends are all set up perfectly. So, bad them in a little bit more. And then we should be good to go. So, over on this side, we want to make this. So, the distance there is going to be like a 14-ish. So, if I bring it down to about... Let's just bring it to a 6. Just kind of move it down a little bit more. Which will give us more than enough room here. So, if I just go after it, I'm hoping that the... Okay, the bridge that it was going to make is not going to work out the way I'm thinking. But we can, again, adjust that, change that anyway. So we'll come back to that in just a moment. So we've got to bring this down and then kind of connect in. That's what we want to do. Now, if I can do this just right, I'll be able to do a little bit of a V there. But it doesn't need to be a V. This one's just going to pretty much turn in. So, yes. Okay, so to here is an 18. So if I go to a 10, I'm then looking at a straight 8 by 8. But I'm going to have to do an 8 by 9 so it doesn't get clipped on the actual road. So if I bring that just to a 40 just to there. So here, I'm going to go for a 10 by 10. So that to there is a 24. So if I go by a 14, I'm looking at a straight 10 by 10 bend. And then we are all connected in. So this one is connected up. I've just got to sort this one out. Now if I mimic this, because I want the split to be a little bit further down. So if we just got like huge backlogs of train traffic, at least it's divided a little bit nicer. Like this. And then we'll just kind of create a little cut in just there. That's simply all we're going to do. So this to there is 36, so at 26, looking at a straight 10 by 10, and we're in. So nothing too mental, very consistent, plain, boring, whatever you want to call it, it's in. So quickly just kind of skim this area with water. Right. So a 22 is what we need. Oh no, I think you can go more than a 22, right? Is it like a 24? No, I think it was a 22 is the magic number. Oh, what's happened there? There we go. 22, straight down. Now do one more as well. 22. Straight down. Just connect simply over. So we got water. We don't have the power yet, but we have the water. The water availability. So let me now just quickly sort out the elevation of all this road, because it's going to kind of annoy me if I don't get this all done now. So if I go there, down to here. There, down to here. And then I can go from here down to there to make it a nicer incline. It's still quite steep, but it definitely looks a lot better now, doesn't it? Definitely looking a lot better. So there we go. Easy access to get to these areas. Beautiful. But the one thing it's stopping me from still doing is getting the, how do I put this? The goods or the oil that we kind of harvest from this area over here. They're still going to have to drive it over. Now, is that going to be a huge issue? I mean, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I don't know. I could also extend, let's say, for example, the train track going that way. But if any trains want to bypass it or go to and from, they have to go through this station. So that could be an issue. But, I mean, it's not going to be a huge kind of area. That's the thing I got to remember. I'm not creating the world's biggest oil rig. This is all it needs in reality. This is all it needs to be. But what I can do is create overpasses for here that bypass certain areas. But again, it all comes down to the vehicle traffic. We'll see what the vehicle traffic says and does before we go any further. Now, we do need a certain cutoff point where we are not willing to take it any further. And I think this might be the one. So if I utilize this as the cutoff point of how far I'm willing to take the oil field, and with that, you can also place down a fence, if I'm not mistaken, where we'll have no trespassing after this. Which, I don't know whether to do it here. Yeah, I'm going to do it there. Give us a little space. So, there'll be no connection from this side into the main area. From this part. That's how we're going to kind of work it. But we do need to build the rest of this perimeter road. So go back to it right now. If I'm coming off a 10 also here, just there, we need it to kind of go down to a 10 by 10 to do a bend. But then it's a 6 by 6 bend just there to kind of keep us going straight. And somehow I need to... Now, that's weird because the 10 mark is then here. And I think it's because I've kind of chose to kind of go somewhere else with this. So, trying to keep to these 10 markers is quite difficult. I know that's going to be a 10 there, so a 5. It is quite difficult, isn't it? That is, I mean, I'm going to have to use the parallel tool, unfortunately. I say unfortunately like it's a bad thing. So, if I, actually, a better idea. If I delete this then, and if I use the parallel tool, and I go from there, just to here, to accomplish this bend. Alright, and then if I up it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is a 10? Is a 10 about a 30? 40 odd? Oh, that's another issue. I don't know where the 10 marker is now. So, let me utilize this one. and just go to there. So, and then I'm roughly going to know where I need to go. Who would have thought this would have been a pain? Not me. So increase this. Oh, it's an 80? Not even an 80. I'm going to assume it's an 83. That's what I'm going to assume. Now, again, obviously, we're a little bit too high in the sky. So we need to... Right, get rid of the parallel tool now. Sink this down. And then select all the road real quick. Why can't I select the road? Why will it not let me select the road? Still will not let me select the road. What's going on? What's going on that I can't select this road? Does this road no longer exist? What is going on? That I can't select this road. Right, give me a second, guys. Right, why is this down from here? 11-ish by 10. This is weird. Wait, I can't select any road. It's because I'm in underground mode. Right, don't ever talk to me ever again. I knew what I was doing this whole time. But at the same time, having that elevated has created an interesting issue. What if I elevated the road going around like it is now, and that also is our perimeter? Oh, that's kind of annoying. Because that's kind of created like a cool problem. Right. Dirt perimeter road. And let me just go back to where I was. Okay? Let me just go back to where I was. So, down to here. And we're looking for about 11 off. So, by 1, that's 11. I'm not going to do... Probably won't do all this with here with dirt. But I'm just trying to get what I need here. So a 16. There we go. The whole thing's like really high. And I have no idea how that's now happened. But we're going to have like a perimeter road going around it. Where all the oil stuff is going to be in. I might make that as it gets towards the edge high. And then kind of come down towards the end maybe. That also would be pretty cool to see. Yeah. Anyway, I need this. This one. Let me just select to here. Being the same object height as you. That's kind of throwing a spanner in the works. Because I kind of like the idea of it being slightly up. Now, if I not have it as high as it is. So we'll use this slight elevation tool there and kind of go as far as, let's say, a middle point there. What I could do is then have all of this here selected to be the object height of, let's say, this one. So it's slightly elevated, but it's not. And then we can build up to that in certain areas. So using this tool again, I can then start... Oh, hang on, I've got to make this be the same level first. So get these first 3 again to there. And then over the space of 4 on the bend, we gradually bring it up to its height. Which is interesting. And then do the same... Oh, I don't want fences. Can you not select fences? Fences, there we go. And obviously these are going to be the same height as that. What just happened? So same object height as you. And it kind of runs through, which obviously is going to be higher as it goes up. So then you've got to try and set this to the right height. So if I then select this node and then bring... Oh, undo that. I used the wrong tool there. And bring that now down to Earth. Right, and then we'll use the angle. I'm switching between so many different tools right now, aren't I? And then, do I go by the 4 or do I go... I'm going to go by the 6 on this to kind of gradually... Nah, maybe I should have stuck to the 4. I should have stuck to the 4. Object height of view. Right, the 4 in question, as it then brings it down. I like the idea of it being bulked up like that, because it kind of then treats this area as if it's isolated. You're not meant to be in this section. So I'm going to get rid of all the trees over on this side. You can almost create like a little bit of a reservoir over here, couldn't you? I like the idea of that. Or I need to up the brush strength on this. Oh, there, oh no, that's the brush size. The strength to get rid of the trees. No, I'm only going to get it rid to there. Okay, it's just nice, plain and open and smooth. Or I'll bring that down. But most importantly, I need to make sure we've got plenty of oil in this area. Because without the oil, we don't have an oil industry. We don't have an oil industry. So let me now continue the road. I'm going to keep the dirt road. I like the dirt road. I'm going to keep it. Okay. So this will obviously run down to here. Oh, look. Can I now undo all of that? What's now going on with this? Just be normal. There we go. Why is this no longer normal? Have I used a different style of road? Have I used the skinny version? I have, haven't I? Is that skinny version all set up throughout all of this? Yes, okay, fair enough. We've gone for the skinny version, guys. We've gone for the skinny version. So it does give us a little bit of a gap there, which I don't mind it. We're gonna keep it like that. But then I need to kind of create my little basin going around now, don't I? So I need to figure out a way in which I'm running down this area. And I kind of want to have a... We'll go for an 8x8 just there. Oh no, I'm going to push it back a bit more. So I'm going to need it to happen a little bit earlier. We'll go for a 10x10. Happening a little bit earlier than you'd expect to kind of get some type of a straight run here. To then have a straight run. Also get rid of that for a 10x10 bend. So where I'm then... That is the snap section, but I reckon I should run to here instead. And then just connect this up. And then we're all Gucci. So 14 by a 12, we'll run with that. And then you get your little loop. Now it is higher on that side, obviously. But the part of me then wants to kind of do something very similar on this side. Because there's going to be no connection involved for us just here. We'll go to there. And then we'll take it to about there. And then set this to object height to U. So that should be slightly elevated. And then we gradient this down. Now if I do the connection there instead, so we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the connection to decline. There, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just have this nice little perimeter. I'm liking the buffness on the wall, and we can kind of thin this out as well. And we've got this like beautiful little basin we get to work with. So the resources, we'll kind of cut this back a little bit. There's ore around here as well, which is what creates the darker green. And I somewhat like the darker green. We've just got, do you know what? We've actually got a lot of ore. Because the ore is what makes the dark green. Yeah, damn, I just realized how much ore we actually have around here. Anyway, we've created this big basin hole, which is beautiful. So we are then going to create our little connections to the road. There we go. So your standard connection to begin with. This one here, I might treat it as a additional run to connect the train line into, but we'll see. So roads can kind of come in. Again, I'm keeping it to that style of road anyway, where we'll kind of set up our main building within this vicinity. And then the road will kind of just spread off and go different directions for where we want the certain oil rigs to be. So if I went for like a... Actually, if I do utilize this style of road, because you get a better angle of a bend, like that, to then run off, snapped like this. Right, and we can kind of sprawl off it in different ways with dirt roads. Like, for example, I can run off down to there. I can run it off down to here. Just down to there, and do like little runs of oil rigs and whatnot. So if I place down the main, but let's just start with the main building. Main building, and I believe... Actually, before I continue, upgrade that road. It's part of this. Well, cut across just there. We'll place the main building in just here. Not perfectly centered, but it will do the job. So the industry area that we now need to paint is obviously going to go around all of this. There we go. And obviously going to come down to here as well. Great stuff. So the main building's in, and then we'll place like all the worker barracks is then dotted around it, which is why we'll have... I just wonder if I can build around the main building if a worker barracks fits in. It does. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that kind of goes around the edge there. 1, 2, 3. It's not perfectly set out or spaced out, is it? Let me drag all of this. Oh, let me undo that. Oh, that's now spaced out a lot better. That is now spaced out a lot better. We can work with this. We can definitely work with this area. So main building like placed in, and then we can start to squeeze in the little oil pumps here and there. So rather than the small ones, because they are tiny and take up very little room and have very little effect, we got the small oil drilling, we got the large ones. We got the big large pumps. Again, they're not the most dominating of buildings. So if I do a 4 gap, a 4 gap, and just space them out like that, these large ones, that looks actually really good, doesn't it? It does look really good. I don't want to go too over the top, because the more you add in, the more problems and stress you're going to throw onto yourself. Now, if I go for this style over here, 1 and a gap of 4. And there, a gap of 4. So they're staggered a little bit differently. But it's enough to kind of add a little bit of jazz to the area. So we'll then squeeze in. I don't really want to do them small ones. I mean, you have other options, like you have the offshore drilling, which is like for water and whatnot. But I think this will be a good start to begin with, to allow this to run. We've got so much space in which we can bring it down and do more connections coming off. We'll just have this huge basin of space, which I will add more trees back in. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like completely cutting off all the trees. So bring the strength down. The trees will get added back in. I've just got to deconstruct the area to reconstruct it. But then we've got the fence going around the edge, which I do need to. You know, I'm gonna delete the fence and then redo it. Because this is something else I can do as well. Hopefully I can use the parallel tool to do it. So the actual fence, if I use the parallel tool, and if I start, let's just say I started here, going all the way around. I just realised I should have actually started like somewhere here. Bam. Bam. To what? About here? No, let's take it all the way to there. So flip it over so it's on the opposite side. Now I could actually just keep it in where it's right against the road. That's not an issue. I can maybe, if I did plus, or maybe kind of have it like a few inches away from the road, because that way it stays on the mound, doesn't it? That way it stays on the mound, and then down here it's on the right on the edge, covers us all off. And obviously I've brought it into here, and I'm treating it as this is not part of it. Well, it is part of it, but it's to stop civilians, pedestrians, just frolicking through the oil rig. I'm adding that in. Right, I'm happy with that. Right, it's kind of frozen the game a little bit. And it did that with the train lines, didn't it? But we're okay. We have the oil fence now in. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, in terms of trains then, in terms of like, you know, utilizing a train line, the road is connected to there. So I could also have these elevate up and over to enter in. I can have this kind of go up and over, well, connect to enter to there. I don't know how I'm going to truly set it up. It depends on how much demand there is ultimately going to be, whether I get a train line within this to ship to over there. But for right now, we don't have water over it. Let me just kind of get a little bit more water in. And I'll do it like this, so we got really good coverage going throughout. There's no point me doing some weird stuff. So just cover to there. Don't have any power just yet, so we might as well set some power up. Now, I could build an oil plant, which would be really good. But we're going to utilize a little bit of a wind farm. Would that be a good idea? I mean, it would be a good idea down here, wouldn't it? Doing some type of a wind farm like this. An onshore wind farm. Now, it doesn't provide much, but it creates a reason to fill that area up there, doesn't it? That's what it does. It creates a reason to fill this area up. So then all I've got to do is run some power lines to it. So we'll start with the obvious run just yet at the minute, just to there. And then we'll run this across to here. And then obviously we'll run from here just to there. So all that is being powered by this wind. And hopefully it's going to be enough. Which I don't see why it wouldn't. So right now it's a very, very basic area. It's very, very basic, but I've laid the foundations. That would look like a really good reservoir as well, wouldn't it? It really would look like a good reservoir. But until I filled it up, I won't add any more trees in just yet. So my only issues would be is the amount of traffic driving from here to get over to here. Like I said, I have options to kind of bring cargo in and out. I can delete these roads here to make this kind of travel either up or over or down and under to access this area. It's only to get, you know, the oil traveled or distributed by bulk. I can kind of filter both of them in to have an end station. So it just depends on the train traffic. But as of right now, we're pumping oil. We're gaining oil. It's being stored, and then we'll be able to distribute it via the trains if we want to. So not really a lot is going on at the moment. We're not really producing any petroleum or any plastics, but this is something that we'll kind of continue the setup in next episode. But we have laid down the foundations, which is going to be quite exciting. Now, in terms of smoothing in the areas off, I can do it to make it not feel like a bowl going around here. So I can do it on the inside. There we go. Doesn't feel too much of a bowl. I can kind of do it on the outside as well. Gets rid of the bowl feeling. But clearly this is elevated up higher. And you've still got the vibe of it. I mean, you've got the dominating fence. It's still up and over. It's going to feel glorious when this is all done. It really is. But anyway, stuff is being moved. Stuff is being distributed. And hopefully we'll start seeing stuff being shipped. That is going to be the exciting bit about it. It really is. So how much traffic are we going to see? I don't know. That's another thing as well. We're only really now, if I fast forward, getting the garbage trucks and other vehicles making their way over to collect the oil. So this vehicle here has come from... This is the owner of the large oil rig over here. Ah, so that's distributed elsewhere. Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, I also have the ability... This is something else that I didn't quite think of. Is I could, if I reset this line to go maybe up this way to come round and then turn in, it gives me the ability to build a V to connect there to a cargo area there. So it can then ship it this way into them, or just go straight out. That's the way I need to do it, rather than cutting across there. Build that, do a V underground. Okay, I figured it out. That is exactly what we're going to do next episode, guys. That is what we're going to be doing next episode. But again, we still have a long way to go. Still have a lot of work to get done in this area. But it's going to be quite exciting. Now, the only downside for me is that this area over here is close enough to here that they might drive it. But with how overloaded this is, it shows us that we're going to need a couple additional cargo ports dotted around. It might give us a great excuse to build on over on this side. It could do. We'll see what happens with that. But yes, we're very, very overloaded, and we need to distribute the goods evenly. Otherwise, this is going to become like a chokehold point. But issues for future episodes, guys. Issues for future episodes. Right now, all they're focused on is bringing the oil and filling up the storage areas. But we're going to end it for here. Hope you are excited for the next episode. If you are, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So...